Super pumped today. We got a great guest coming on. Karen Morris is going to tell her story about what it's like starting in a market that is absolutely savage. Join me right after this. What is going on? I'm very happy to introduce. We got Karen Morris on the show today, just going to show everybody how to be a killer in today's market and how to take the bull by the horns.
How's it going?
Oh, another day in the life. We got a little bit of construction here, but
Yeah.
it's almost done putting in some new lights in here and getting things ready. What are you up to?
I went out, showed a house this morning. Was hoping it was going to be an offer. Just wasn't what they were looking for, but we're on to another, Yep. I'll be stopping in the office later on today. Coming over to
Perfect.
see you guys.
That kind of leads into a little bit about it. So, I'll give you a brief rundown just for anybody that's watching. Karen joined our team back in February, and she's coming up on our 4-month anniversary. And in that time, she's already closed on, right around the average for a seasoned agent. 5 properties have already closed, 5 families brought home, and it's counterintuitive to most people. Like, real estate's awesome, it's booming. There's properties are flying off the shelf, but working the buy side, there's a lot of agents quitting right now that focus on the buy side because they just can't get them under contract. And you have to make a living when you're doing this. So tell them a little bit about your journey, and I'd love to hear your aspect on that and what you've seen.
Yeah. So my journey brought me here. Unfortunately, I lost my previous job through the COVID experience there, and I loved real estate. I was dabbled in it myself a little bit, and I thought it was a great opportunity for me to take that time I had to take off and get my license and work on it. And now I always love helping someone else. So that's just I guess where it comes from. I want to help see people get their ultimate goal. They look for a specific home. I want to help them find it or show them the potential in a home, basically. If we're out looking and it's not really what they want, then I can show them how it can be, show them the potential in it. So that's how it's all leaded. And to get where I'm at, first of all, I passed my online part of the test back September. And then again, because of COVID, they didn't allow you to take the test. And for some reason, mine wasn't available online. Maybe they just weren't having people do the online proctoring. I'm not sure. But I had to wait till February before I could take my test. And thankfully, I passed the first time and was able to come right on board and start with you guys.
Awesome. And now that you've gotten through all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and you come in and but most people may not. Like, my career started where I was 100% on the buy side. So
Oh, yeah.
I know the journey, and when you start as a new agent, that's your focus, because you come in and it's just kind of the natural progression of things is you meet people and you help them buy a house, and it builds over time to where you start to list properties. Um, you know, this market's brutal, and the things that you got to go through.
Yes.
I really want to kind of get into that, because the way that you had to get kicked off was, torturous times for somebody
Yes.
coming into this market, and you still found that way to thrive. And what was that like? What was it like having to, you were thrown to several packs of wolves.
Yes, yes. I had multiple different situations with different contracts. I don't want to go into detail on some of them, but there was multiple situations beyond the typical. and you just had to find ways to negotiate. I found, like, I made sure that there was constant communication with the list agent, and that you worked ways to get around the situations, or if you had an offer, you constantly talked to them, and what would help make your client's offer stronger than say cash, because that's what most of the offers are out there that you have to beat, is those investors.
So you touched on a big one there. Like, it's the two sides of it are, one is being expert,
Mm.
right? Like, how, yeah, cash is always king, right? But
Mhm.
with our contract here in Florida, there's several parts of that may not be true. Because let's say that, you're the seller and you list your house for 250 and you get two offers that are 260. One of them's finance, one of them's
Right,
cash. If the cash has a $5,000 escrow and the finance has a $10,000 escrow, and that cash offer has a 10-day inspection period where they,
right,
in buyer's sole discretion, they can back out, and the finance removes that contingency. Now all
exactly.
of a sudden, you got a decision to make as a seller. Do I risk it to take the cash and not have to worry about the financing contingency, but I have to worry about them having the right to back out for any reason they want? Or do I
Mhm.
go with the conventional because now I know I'm locked in?
Exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of where we had to play that game and then communicate it to the agent that, hey, my buyer really wants this property so badly, so badly that they're willing to risk so much escrow to show you that, and waive any kind of not appraisal, but the right to cancel, that they still wanted to inspect, but they were gonna waive any right to cancel. So it brought them up to that, cash offer.
Killing it. And it's not
Mhm.
even just with, like, I wrote down the numbers. So out of those five, three of them were FHA. And through some of the communication I've had with
Yeah,
other agents are weary to even take on helping a buyer that's FHA right now.
right.
Because how do you get into the game with 10, 20 offers out there, and they could be cash conventional, but you managed to get three different families home with FHA, and one of them you even got, I believe it was 4 or 5,000 seller credit negotiated, right?
4,000 credit, yeah.
In the
I
hottest,
know.
lowest inventory, most competitive market ever.
Mhm. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I
Yeah.
it's like it's kinda unbelievable that think it even happened, but yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, it's just through you building those relationships and
Mhm.
being transparent and having great rapport with the agents, because ultimately
Yes.
from the buy side, that's your salesman is.
Exactly. You have to be able to communicate with them and not just submit the offer. I mean, I have to admit there was maybe one in the beginning where you just submitted an offer and then you think about it afterwards, what could I have done better to make, first of all, actually there was one that I didn't communicate. Did you receive my offer? And they had the wrong email address in their listing, and
uh,
and it didn't go through. I mean, it ended up the offer did eventually get through because we were able to catch it. But, those things were important that I learned, that always follow up your offer. Did you receive my offer? Did you understand my offer? Can I do something to explain the offer to you some more, because I've noticed a lot of them don't understand what it means when you put 0, they waive the right to cancel, but reserve the right to inspect. What did that mean?
Heck yeah,
So,
heck yeah. You know, in case there is an agent, whether it's an agent starting out that's having some struggles, or it's somebody who's looking to understand like what it takes to go through it right now, like what advice would you give, even if you could turn back time 4 months and give it to yourself, or if you
mhm.
were giving it to somebody else who's about to join real estate and try to accomplish this?
Ooh, always reach out to a mentor or someone that it's also in real estate, just for some advice. If you're having trouble with specifically FHA, I know is very hard because that is of course, the low man on the totem pole. So we have to think outside the box. What can work to help this offer stand out? So there's no reason why you can't reach out to someone and say, hey, what are your suggestions to help make my offer look more solid? Or even to the listing agent themselves, what are your sellers looking for? I just recently had an instance where those specific sellers were wanting, they didn't list it in their listing, but they wanted to have a lease back as an option. To them, that was going to be something that would stand out to them. So those are important things that if you can reach out and ask what would be a key term to include in the contract.
Heck yeah. And if one of those
Mhm.
agents wanted to reach out and, grab you for a cup of coffee or give you a
Mhm.
call,
Exactly.
what's the best number for them to reach you at?
Probably my personal number. It's 352-428-2550.
Perfect. So yeah, if there's anybody watching the show wants to get Karen's feedback and her start here, real estate's a tremendous opportunity. Yeah, it can do a lot for you. It can do a lot for your family, but you can also do a lot for other people's families and continuing to mentor and give forward. Give her a call, see where she's at, and I mean she's killing it in a market that
Mhm.
is brutal and it's got a lot of people
Yeah.
quitting. And Karen, it doesn't come
Yeah.
it doesn't come easy, right? Like it
No, not
takes
at all.
time and dedication, right?
It does. A lot of dedication for sure.
Awesome, awesome, and
And I've had
yeah,
an awesome mentor myself. So, yeah. So think about that. There's always somebody else out there who will be willing to work with you to help you.
you said something in the very start of this, and it's where we align, and everybody on our team aligns. Is the number one is always love for people,
Mhm.
and when you start with that thinking process, it cures your problems, right? Like
Yeah.
for me, like where I am today is not like it's two things, right? Like I love you, but I also
Mm.
love customers I haven't even met. And the reason that I got started on this whole journey is that there's a better way, and I work through it, and I fancy myself as an expert, and I want to make everybody that I help an expert to the highest levels that we can go, and that comes from us
Right.
bouncing ideas off of each other and utilizing each other as a team.
Definitely. We all bring something to the table, I feel, from our group.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Well, Karen, I appreciate you coming on here and
Yes.
giving everybody the opportunity to hear about your journey so far. And I really look forward to next time we do this. And I'll see you here in a couple hours at the office.
Yes, definitely. I will be there soon. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.